More than 2,000 years ago, merchants traveled in camel caravans between China and the West. These routes were called the Silk Road by a German geographer, Ferdinand von Richthofen, in 1877 because silk from China was one of the most sought after in the West. Today, trucks have replaced camels and the caravan stops have ceased to function. Only the facades have been preserved to attract tourists. Throughout history, these cities have fallen under many conquerors from Alexander the Great, Arabs, Persians, Genghis Khan, and finally the Russians in 1924. The present smaller territory of Uzbekistan was carved out by the Russians, presumably to prevent a reemergence of a big Khanate that may pose a threat. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, Uzbekistan declared independence in 1991. In 1336, 50 miles south of Samarkand, in an area called Sharif Sabz or the Green City, a child was born of Genghis Khan's descent. He grew up to be a skilled military commander. Called Timurlane or Timur the Lame, a result of a hip injury, he spent the greater part of his life conquering land to build up an empire that stretched from Georgia to Mongolia and to India. Only Alexander the Great exceeded him. He had begun a winter campaign to conquer China and return it to Mongol rule when he died suddenly in 1405 in a town called Otra in Kazakhstan. His conquests left a trail of massacre and destruction. Captives were beheaded and a pyramid of tens of thousands of heads were piled up at each fallen town. The Timurid dynasty ended when the Uzbek Muhammad Shaybani defeated the last ruler Badi-az-Zaman in 1506. One of Timur's descendants, Babur, ruler of the Fergana Valley, founded the Mughal dynasty in India in 1526. The fifth emperor Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal for his wife, who died at childbirth. It was said that when Genghis Khan looked up at this minaret, a strong wind blew off his headgear. As he dismounted from his horse and kneeled to pick it up, this heavy armor kept him down. Believing that the minaret was protected by higher authorities, he spared it from destruction. Today, head sellers outside the temple try their luck to convince tourists that their heads are protective. Ulugh was an academic grandson of Timur who stood equal among world-class astronomers. He discovered and catalogued over 1,000 stars without any telescope. Using this huge Fakhri sextant, a 60-degree stone arc orientated in the north-south direction built below ground in his observatory, he was able to resolve up to 1/600th of a degree. His reign was an unfortunate short 2 years when he was beheaded by assassins hired by his son Abd al-Latif. The last emir of Bukhara, Muhammad Alim Khan, was educated in St. Petersburg and was a friend of the last Tsar Nicholas II. When the Bolshevik Revolution killed off the Tsar family, they also turned hostile towards the emir. After an initial failed attempt, they captured Bukhara in 1920, and the emir eventually fled to Kabul in Afghanistan, where he died in 1944. The Russians carted 11 train wagons of gold and jewels from his palace after he fled. Registan, or the Sandy Place, was originally a canal that silted up. It is a square flanked on three sides by madrasa. The Ulubek madrasa on the left was the first to be built, from 1417 to 1420. Opposite on the right stands the shadow, meaning having tigers. It was built from 1619 to 1636 to be a symmetrical opposite of the Ulubek madrasa. The last facing the open side is the Tilia Kori, built in 1646 to 1660. It means a gilded one and has a mosque.
So, this is our flute, nai in our language. It's made from the bamboo. Made from membrane of the bull's harp.
Bull's harp? Wow.
Yes.
sun, windy, or too much sun, because people always complain. If it's too hot, complain, too cold, complain, more water, complain, less water, complain, more rain, complain, no fish.
The guest of honor for this wedding in Tashkent must be the Emir, for his entourage came in a convoy of cars that included 2 Bentleys.
In a wedding function.
They are so friendly that they invited us total strangers to join in the dinner.